Okay, Jane, on to new AFR polling out today. It shows most people support Labor's tax cut rejig, although no lift in support for the government. So it basically mirrors News poll from a few weeks back now. A trend is emerging. What's your read on that?
Well, of course, when times are really tough, people will take and pocket whatever they possibly can. What this poll shows to me, more importantly, is that 30% of people say that they won't be better off after this tax cut goes through. And more importantly, that Labor have essentially sold their integrity for not a single bump in the polls. It's going to cost $1.4 billion to get this tax cut through over the forward, the rejig tax cut over the forward estimate. Right. And yet they've sold their integrity for what? Absolutely nothing. And if I were a Labor backbencher and I was in a marginal seat, that poll would be very worrying.
No, I'm sure they would have been hoping for a bigger bounce by now. Are you any closer to working out what you want to do with your tax reform?
Well, as you know, Pete, we said that we will go to the next election with a complete tax package, one that is true to our principles of lower, simpler and fairer taxes. But unfortunately, stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3 of the personal income tax plan were very carefully calibrated and they were very carefully costed. What this government has done is essentially junk a reform that was so important, because without that reform, without addressing bracket creep, what essentially they've said is they're happy to rob your future prosperity. And millions of Australians, indeed 1 in 4 Australians, will be worse off because of the decision that this government has made.
OK, let's go to Dunkley. Early voting opens up today. You've been there recently, Jane. Can you win it?
I was down there yesterday and there's certainly a good vibe in the room, and Liberals are out in force. We have a terrific candidate, Nathan Conroy, who is working particularly hard. But I think we need to be realistic here. This is a margin of 6.3%. It's not even in the marginal seat category. Any move in the dial, I think, would be something that we would be very pleased to see, but it's going to be a tough ask.
So
that said, we'll be out in force. The message we're hearing on the ground is that there is white-hot anger against this Prime Minister because he has taken his eye off the ball, has been distracted, he's got the wrong priorities, he's broken promises and he's making bad decisions.
So if you bring that margin to less than 6.3%, you'd see that as a good result, even if you lose?
Well, I think that Peter Murphy was a very popular local member and there's an awful lot of good wishes towards her and her family, and that will play out too. That said, we are hearing good things on the ground, and we would hope that Nathan Conroy, as a terrific candidate, very well known as a local mayor that's been elected 3 times, that presence will make a difference. That and the white-hot anger that we are hearing from people on the ground towards this government.
Jane Hume, good to have you with us as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Great to be with you, Pete.